Hello, this is Mary Fish with Stampin' Pretty and StampinPretty.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I sell the products that I'm going to share with you today, as well as post blog tips, products, and the latest Stampin' Up! Specials on my blog, StampinPretty.com. You can go there to shop. There's even a free tutorial for you if you subscribe to both my newsletter as well as the daily blog updates. So I created this fun little patriotic card. It has real red and blueberry bushel. Blueberry bushel is one of our newer colors. And I loved the look. There's even a little stripe for Independence Day, but you could use any colors that you want. But there's a couple highlights to this card that I wanted to share you some wow tips. First of all, I used and embossed with one of our oval stitch shapes framelits dies, actually the largest one, with our new embossing mats. And that created this beautiful soft background image that really makes the die cut layer, which is one size smaller, really pop. I think it's subtle but really beautiful. And then I also have a tip for you on how to line up those stems behind the vase so that they're perfect every time. A tip I got from my good friend Patty Bennett. So let's just quickly start with the products that I used. And we'll be sharing with you the Varied Vases Photopolymer Stamp Set. Has such a wide variety of flowers and vases, and they coordinate with the Vases Builder Punch. This little bundle is 10% off if you purchase them together, and it's very special to me because I got to help inspire the design when I reached $1 million in sales with Stampin' Up! So I love it for that reason as well. These are the Stitched Shapes Framelits dies. They work with our Big Shot. The squares work with our Layering Squares dies. The circles work with our Layering Circles. And the ovals work with our Layering Ovals. So this is one of the most versatile die sets that I have on hand. I highly recommend them. And the largest of the oval dies actually wasn't on that magnet board because it's here. I started out with the Big Shot platform and a cutting plate, and then I have a piece of blueberry bushel cardstock and the oval die, and I have it facing, I have a little bit of washi tape keeping it in place. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be flipping it over. It's going to be below, and I really want the positioning exact. If you look at the card, you'll see that I wanted to make sure that it was going up and down and was perfectly in its right spot, left to right, so that when I added this on top, it was where it was positioned. Without looking at it, it could possibly shift, so that little bit of washi tape helps. And then I'm using the blue mat, the thin blue mat from the embossing mats. And then this also comes with the embossing mats. It's just its topper plate. And I'm going to grab everything and run it through my Big Shot. I love my Big Shot. I use it almost every day. You don't need any power cords. It's just sort of magical. It just works like a champ, and it just feels more tactile for me. I love the fact that I'm the one creating all that yummy texture. So speaking of yummy texture, check that out. Isn't that gorgeous? Here we go. So it doesn't cut. I am just going for texture. Isn't that cool? And then the next tip, as I mentioned, was from Patty Bennett. And for that, I'm going to use my Stamparatus. This is a stamp positioning tool. I've got more information about the Stamparatus on my blog. But I want to tell you about a couple important things before we get started. First of all, with a clear photopolymer stamp, I use the foam mat that it comes with. And then from Stampin' Storage, which is not Stampin' Up, Stampin' Storage, they have a perfectly cut magnet pad that fits, and that allows me to stamp a little closer to the corner. It works as a shim as well as helps keep this little magnet in place. And then I've already pre-stamped the vase and one stem. And I want to mention also that for line images like this, I don't even use a clear block anymore. I use everything with the Stamparatus. That way I get a nice clean line image. No matter how carefully I try to stamp on a clear block with a line image, especially something like this little stem, there's always one edge or end that's just a little off. So with a Stamparatus, the likelihood of it being very equal and crisp is really high. And if for some reason there's a little bit of a miss, you get a second chance because you can always restamp it. So I use the Stamparatus for both the vase as well as the stem. And let me show you how I positioned that stem, and I'm going to do it with the second one. I just literally layered it on like this and stamped it. And for the other side, I am going to put it right here. And the reason I have this little post-it here is so that the length doesn't go below the vase and it won't show when we do a punched image over it, when we punch the actual vase out. So I have my gorgeous blueberry bushel, and I'm going to ink it up. That should be good. And like I said, with the Stamparatus, I get a second chance. So now I've got excellent placement, okay? I've got it right where I want it to be. And so, rather than guessing and then layering a punch over, I know that I have it exactly the way that I want it. So I'm very quickly looking for, oh, hello, it's right here. And I'm sorry for any glare. I need a little bit of light in order to do this. So I'm just going to punch out the punch so I can just show you. There we go. And you can see that this is going to layer right on top. So those little stems are going to come out just perfectly. And then you can punch out the little tulips. That's also on the punch right here. Pop them up. I use the mini Stampin' Dimensionals. These tulips are perfect for those mini Stampin' Dimensionals, but I use them for here as well as the sentiment and the vase. So I hope you learned a little something new today about the Stamparatus and as well the Stampin' Up! Embossing mats. I love them and I can't wait to do many more things to turn my dies into embossing folders. Thank you and bye-bye.